So what is up, guys? You got your boy Stingren here today, and today we are back with some Aether Gazer content. I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute since your boy has been here. I've been having a little bit of difficulty recording over the past few weeks because, yeah. But I think it's kind of fixed itself now, so I should be back in business. But we have to talk about a few stuff. First things we got to talk about is SU is finally making her way into the game. Now, I know a lot of people have already casted their doubt and shadow about SU because, most CM players say she's not really that good. But let's kind of go over her and let's kind of talk about it, because even those who are not in the know should know at least what she does. And while there is at least some positive aspect of running SU in your team, I'm going to kind of try to go over that just to maybe sway a few minds if I possibly can, because even if I, in my tier list, put her as like kind of like skill issue unit, because she is kind of difficult to understand. Well, she's more so difficult to play than understand. She's more so like a harder to kind of time character, but other than that, let's get into this video. So of course we have here on the official Twitter, she says she is coming. She will be a part of the standard banner. So whatever you guys do, if you're gonna pull for SU, this is just because you like her. And look, she kind of bad. I'm just saying anyway. But if you like SU, don't pull on the precise banner. Pull on the standard banner, because you should have a little bit more standard banner resources because of the monthly battle passes or anything like that. So there's that, and that's just free to play. I think if you want to get the tickets for her, go ahead. But if you're just saving, then I would just say go standard. Go standard. Anyway, this is the character we're going to be looking at, and that's going to be SU. So SU, let's take a look at her basic. Her basic does a maximum of 410 lightning damage, and she has a passive that increases self-lightning damage based on self-wind damage increase. And she, of course, is a rage character. She is from the Now region. Now, this is the first little interesting part about her kit, is she gets herself more lightning damage with the more wind damage she has. So this is kind of like the first example of a character that's kind of like dual hybrid. While she is primarily lightning, she wants benefit for wind, because this in turn improves her lightning damage. Now, does this mean that you should invest in wind to make her a little bit stronger? I mean, if you happen to roll it when you're doing like your sigils and stuff, and you're doing your enhancements and you're trying to roll and stuff like that, then yeah. But if you're not really trying to push for it, I wouldn't really just push for it. I would still probably just take lightning damage instead. But again, it's a little bit of an interesting gimmick. There's another character in the future that kind of has a similar gimmick, but he does it a little bit better and it's a little bit easier to understand. Anyway, let's go and talk about this skill one. Now, the skill one is actually very good. It's actually very strong as well. But anyway, so flourishes dual spears, doing a maximum of 719 lightning damage, switching stance between offensive and defensive stance, regardless of whether or not skill 1 and CD has been is in cooldown or has been enhanced. When casting skill 2 and 3, enhanced skill 1 follow attack or counter attack, the active stance can be swapped by tapping skill 1, which will not interrupt the animation nor deal damage, but it will consume 7 rage. So this means that she can basically just switch between an offensive and defensive stance at the drop of a dime. So you don't have to worry about skill 1 being on CD. You have to worry about any of the other skills that could potentially change her stances around. So there. So anyway, when in defensive stance, getting hit while in skill 2 R animation will block the attack and initiate a counter attack, dealing 1200% of damage with 20% of lightning damage, and she will gain 1 stack of shocking mark, which can consume 15 rage afterward. When the mark sets are at 6 or more, then skill 1 will be enhanced, and the offensive defensive variations of skill 1 will each have a own separate cooldown of 15 seconds. Now this is where her key gimmick comes into play here. So basically, she is a character that you have to time her animations on. Normally you're kind of just attacking vigorously, but you're kind of hoping while you're in animation that the enemy can hit you, so that way you can block it and then proceed to go for the counter. That way you can get these stacks. So there's that. Now this is where she gets a little bit crazy here. So her enhanced skill 1, when she's an offensive scan, and she will consume all her marks, dealing a maximum of 3,000 lightning damage. I know it says 29.9, but that's 3,000. What the hell is 1.1% gonna do? Anyway, So it's essentially a 3,000 lightning damage, which is even stronger than her ult, which is kind of crazy. While in defensive stance, same thing. So this is just one big final nuke once she gets all the stacks she needs to get. So that's really good. Her skill 2, she will kick the spear like John Lee. I don't think that's actual translation. I think that's just probably the guy who made this taking a little bit of a joke. And launch for the enemy and firstly thrust the enemy continuously, dealing a maximum 196.8 lightning damage. Unlocks a follow-up attack if skill animation ends while in offensive stance, which will be removed if the stance is switched to defensive stance. Afterward, follow-up attack does 100% of 100% a maximum of 119 or 100,119 lightning damage, and will gain a guiding thunder mark. So 2 different marks just to worry about there. And then her skill 3, which will probably do a spears with lightning god's powers and execute a wide area spinning attack. And she will transform the spears to a dozen lightning bolts falling onto enemies, dealing a maximum 100 lightning damage. Unlocks 1 follow-up attack if the skill animation ends while in offensive stance, which of course will be removed if she switches into defensive stance. And follow-up attack is 150%, maximum the same as before while getting at the guiding thunder. And her dodge skill will give her 25% rage. So here's that. Let's talk about her ult. This is just her base ult. So her base ult is just a 200% lightning damage. Team resource gain rate will be gained by 20% on hit, which is pretty good. Gives base for every basic attack hit, gets crit damage plus 20% for a maximum of 3 stacks, and can be only triggered once every 2 seconds. And yeah, so this basically means you can get yourself a 60% crit damage, which is, 60% crit damage. I mean, I don't know. And when self or teammates consume combat resource, obtains a set amount of ultimate charge, which is good for ult spams. But anyway, this is the one she has with Aether, which is actually one of the main reasons you could pull for her is actually for Aether. But anyway, so it's basically the same thing, but instead you get 15% ultimate charge, you get 21% resource gain rate, you get 75% crit rate this chance for a maximum of 3 stacks, which is pretty good. Of course, when the resource buff ends, then yeah, but it lasts for a pretty decent amount of time though. You get 75% crit damage as opposed to 60, which is not bad. Let's go over her codes, which is for building. So yellow one, avoid the animation of follow-up attack or counter-attack, and switching into offensive that will trigger a special follow-up dealing 360% lightning damage, dealing skill damage, which is not bad. Special follow will block damage from start to when it hits the enemies, and on a successful block will gain immunity to damage and crowd control effects till the animation ends. After successful block, self lightning damage will be increased by 25% for 12 seconds. While skill 1 is on CD, stance can be sealed by tapping 1 when casting basic attacks. After successful block, when successful follow-up is on skill 1 on CD, switching on defensive stance will casting basic attacks will trigger special follow-up again. And the Aether code for the past one cannot stack up to 3 times, which then gives it a 75% lightning damage boost. Now this is probably the codes that you go if you're going to be maining her. If you're going to be main DPSing her, this is probably going to be the code you want, because 70% lightning damage up, which is pretty strong. And of course she gets a special follow-up animation. But here is the next one for red. So let me see, if counterattack is triggered. If counterattack is triggered after skill hits enemy before its skill animation ends, this counterattack base damage increases by 20%. Okay. When follow animation or counterattack hits, attain 1 stack of attack buff. Each stack increasing staff attack by 8%. So that is a total of 48% attack up. Not bad. When taking hits that result in HP loss, lose attack buff stacks. Ugh. When attack buff reaches 6 stacks, crit rate is increased by 30%. Okay. And when casting an enhanced skill 1 while in defensive scan to block the attack and initiate a counterattack. Enemies hit by this counterattack will have their lightning resistance and wind resistance increased by 15% for 7 seconds. Repeated hits refreshing the duration effect cannot stack. Now, I think this could be a really good one if you're AI. If you're AI Shu, which I don't know how good AI Shu is. I'm sorry. Again, I'm not a CN player. I only go about what CN players tell me, and I relay it to you guys. So again, forgive me for that. But I think if you were to AI her with like S rank Osiris, because that technically can be a now combination, you can because they are of the same faction. So maybe S Osiris, Shu, and another third. You would have to give up on her good ult though. That's the thing. You would have to give up on Osiris's good ult unless you run. I mean, nah, actually that's not true. Unless you wait till Thor comes out, maybe, which is a few patches after this. So maybe if you run Thor, her, and as Shu, maybe that could potentially be a little bit of a fun team to run there because you're getting yourself a lightning and a wind resistance, and that's going to be really good for the both of them because Thor is a lightning damage DPS and Osiris is wind. So that could be potentially something good that you could throw in as an AI support option. Again, she has a pretty decent base ult, 60% crit rate, which is not bad, especially for DPSs like them. So anyway, so every stance mark possessed increases the corresponding skill one's base, the enhanced damage by 20%. Let me see, when she's in possession of these more guiding, more star, produce extra attack when offensive skill, dealing 1000%. This is considered skill damage. Ooh. If in possession, one skill shot mark, and there's only 8 of 0 time. Oh. When in casting, let's see, every shocking mess consume the duration. Okay, that's not a bad for Bluetooth. That's not bad. Let me see. Enhanced skill one will not only consume stance marks, and let me see. When casting will no corresponding a search at the current state, and the enhanced skill one will consume all marks. Okay, not bad. But I think the only thing about her is that you really just do need someone to really work with her because she's just really hard to play. So if you really want to play her, I think she would best be suited maybe as a crit damage support. Maybe you could potentially run her for something along the lines that could run like the team I mentioned before, which is of course a future content team. If you want maybe like a more current team, if you were to main Shu, which again, no disrespect to anyone that wants to pull for Shu, because again, if you want to have fun with the game, pull for the characters you generally like. So if I say you shouldn't pull for it, does not mean you shouldn't pull for it. I mean, it's up to you, honestly. It's your account, your resources, your stars, your tickets, whatever it is you want to do. I just think that should be what you should do. Anyway, let's go on from here. So I think if you want a main Shu, I think a good team for her. I want to say S Shu, I want to say Aaron Vert, and I want to say obviously just Hera. Just to kind of fit it in. Just that, I mean, that's pretty simple. That's pretty bread and butter. I don't know if you'd run. I don't know if you'd run her and like someone that can maybe do wind. Like the only two units I'm thinking that can do wind is like Hermes and Osiris, and I don't think you really need them because I don't think they actively buff wind damage. So there's that. So I don't know if you really need to run those two together, but I think just the standard team for SU, if you're gonna main her, but if you're AIing her, then I do think the future team is gonna be a lot better because it's gonna give at least her a probability to be used, especially in certain cases like where you have to go use multiple other teams of certain content. You know what I mean? Because there's gonna be stages. Obviously, Reoccurring Dream is a prime example where you do need more than one team. So if you want to get her for the sake of, having this collection, having this, all this type of thing, then by all means, go for it. For me personally, I am going to skip. I am a little bit limited on what I can do for whaling. So, I would have liked to maybe get SS Hades. I only got her up to S. I'll probably do a video on S Hades soon, if I can get the chance to record, but I don't think I can IWT Shu. I think this is going to be the peak moment that I can start saving some resources. I might go for Athena. I'm still up in the air. I'm very much interested to mess around with her, but I do think she needs a little bit of a higher investment to actually be good, and I think that's SSS. I think someone said SSS or with Funter or SS with Funter, she should be fine. If I can get her SS with Funter, then maybe. But anyway, let's go and talk about her Funter, Shu's Funter. So we need to find now. So where is our now babies at? Here it is. That's Eschew. That's Anubis. Here it is. So here it is right here. When equipped with Eschew, follow-up and counter-up attack increases by 16% plus 4 per transcendent. So if you're doing plus 5, that is plus 20, so 36, then an additional plus 8. So, I mean, what is that, 40% boost? Okay. If a stance is switched during follow-up or counterattack based on the final after stance, a second follow-up or counterattack can be triggered. This effect can be triggered again by the second follow-up attack or counterattack. I mean, that's really good, obviously. That's going to be a really, really good one for her. So I do think if you do want to build Shu, obviously you want to get her Functor. I mean, there's really no other reason to not get her Functor because it's really good for her. In terms of what I was saying earlier about her AI choices, honestly, all of them look pretty good. Like, all of them look pretty good. There is no clear bread and butter winner for me, honestly. I'd probably say you'd probably maybe want to do either yellow or you probably want to do red. I think yellow and red for manual might be good. Red might be a good one for AI as well. I don't know. Maybe if you really wanted to focus on the S1 gimmick, you could potentially even run like a blue 1 because that way you can at least get that enhanced skill damage by 20%, which is not bad. I mean, you could probably do, red 2 and then blue 1 maybe could potentially be kind of a combination I like to see. You could do all yellow, red, blue. Yeah, you can do all yellow because I do think you want to get that lightning stack up. Since most of her skills are effectively dealing lightning damage, this is a pretty good one. Again, this is really, really good. If you really didn't want the lightning resist down, like if you were running her with someone like Tsukiyomi, for example, who does have, I think she has lightning damage boost. So you could maybe potentially do this. But if you really needed to have the lightning resist, then you could run that third as a potential option because that, again, would be good for someone like A-Rain Vert or Tsukiyomi, which is the S-Rank Thunder unit, or Thor, if you didn't have access to your own Thunder resist down, which is not bad, not bad. And again, I think blue 1 is where you'd probably want to stop. I mean, blue 2 doesn't seem bad, and blue 3 definitely doesn't seem bad either. But I think blue 1 just gives you that extra 20% damage mod, which is not bad. It's a little bit of a free thing there. So, of course, there's that. But anyway, that's going to be Eschew. I think Eschew is going to be a unit that people either are going to be interested in or just not so much interested in. For me, I was actually a little bit interested, but of course, due to how limited my resources are at the moment, I won't be able to really mess around with her as much as I'd want to. So, but anyway, it's been your boy Stingren, and this has kind of been the full overview of Eschew, kind of giving you a brief example of what she does. So, see you next time. Peace.